Hello and welcome to Tracy's show. I'm not sure if any of the viewers, new viewers hopefully, have heard of the Naazir twins that were found unalived on a mountain. Well, I just want to give you some updates, but I always like to start at the beginning so that you know where we're going. And when these twins were first found alive, they were found unalived on a mountain. Now, when they were found unalive on a mountain, which was called Bell Mountain, I believe it was around March. So I'm going to give you a little backstory on them. The family of the 19-year-old twins found unalive on Bell Mountain on March 8th have new questions for authorities after seeing new surveillance video of the two brothers just hours before a hiker discovered their bodies. Now, I want to let you know that this hiker took a picture of their bodies. The hiker then released the pictures to, I guess, all the news outlets. So let's take a listen to that first. Shout out to the Undisputed channel. If you have not subscribed to his channel, please do so. He keeps us all abreast of what's going on.
A hell of a story out of Georgia. A man has been arrested in connection to the deaths of black twin brothers. This story has a lot of twists and turns. It's going to make your blood boil. Put up the picture for a mask. In Georgia, Qaadir and Naazir Lewis, 19 years of age, were found dead just hours after they were expected to fly to Boston to visit friends on Saturday, March 8th. Their plane tickets were reportedly still in their respective wallets, found at the scene of the crime. Hikers discovered their bodies at the top of Bell Mountain. This is near North Georgia. It is the Georgia-North Carolina border, dozens of miles from where families say the brothers were living. Although police suspect the brothers died in a murder-suicide by gunshot wound, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has confirmed the arrest of former Towns County volunteer firefighter Scott Curlin, 42 years of age, in connection to the case. It gets even more interesting. According to the reports, the firefighter was fired on March 14th after he allegedly violated department protocol. Towns County Commissioner Cliff Bradshaw told 11 Alive. Curlin has not been charged directly in the deaths of the brothers, but he was hit with misdemeanor obstruction for allegedly snapping photos of the twins' dead bodies and then leaking those photos to the public, according to the GBI. The GBI's medical examiner has not shared the complete autopsy reports to the public yet. According to a spokesperson, additional forensic tests are still pending. The family, however, continues to dispute the suicide ruling, saying the twins would never hurt each other. Their aunt, Yasmin Bronner, said, quote, "They wouldn't do anything like this. To say they did this to each other? No. Something happened in those mountains and we want answers," end quote.
Yasmin Browner, the aunt of Qaadir and Naazir Lewis, shared a news report on Facebook that included footage of her nephews entering a Shell gas station in Lawrenceville, Georgia, about 12 hours before they were found slain. The family said they have also learned that the twins took an Uber to the airport that Friday morning after scheduling a trip to Boston, but changed their plans when the car failed to drop them off in time for their flight. They now have several questions, like how the two young men drove their unreliable car to Bell Mountain and managed to get inside the gates of the facility, which closes at 9 p.m., at which time they were still close to home. The gas station here around 10:30 p.m. The twins are seen drinking water, eating snacks, and dressed how they would normally dress. The twins' Aunt Samia Browner told 11 Alive. They pretty much walked inside the gas station and walked out. And that's all. That's all she saw, Samira added. So now we will listen to another news update, which was about 2 or 3 days ago.
The family of the Gwinnett County teens found shot to death on top of Bell Mountain say the GBI has botched its investigation. GBI investigators ruled it a double suicide last month after saying the twins took their own lives by each shooting themselves.
That's right. Our Chase Howell spoke with the family along with the NAACP, who is calling on the GBI to hand over the evidence.
The headline of this newspaper asking what happened to Qaadir and Naazir Lewis wasn't the only question on people's minds Friday.
I find it very hard to believe, as a 21-year practicing attorney, that these individuals drove to a mountain they did not know, up a windy, dark road behind a gate that was locked, and killed themselves.
Tyrese Lewis, the boy's father, suffered a stroke in November and couldn't say much during Friday's press conference. But those around him used their voices for him, calling into question the GBI's findings, saying the way their bodies were found, it doesn't make sense.
Positioned with their feet almost touching, but spread out to where their heads were fanned out. Their arms were out. Their heads were facing upward.
The family says that GBI closed the case and that they've been trying to see the evidence but have been blocked from getting it. So they submitted an open records request.
In some cases, the family could file a request for a magistrate court judge to hear the evidence through a warrant application hearing and potentially open a criminal investigation. Or they could take it to the district attorney of that circuit and turn over the investigation.
The Lewis family, along with the NAACP, comparing the Lewis's death to that of Ahmaud Arbery, the unarmed black man who was gunned down in Georgia in 2020.
Many times in Georgia, the initial story does not hold up to scrutiny of independent eyes and independent investigators looking at it and turning over every stone.
The family, along with the NAACP, giving the GBI until Monday to release the findings, or they'll be back at the courthouse demanding to see the findings. In Gwinnett County, Chase Howell, 11 Alive News.
Now, we did reach out to the GBI, and while the family claims that the case has been closed, the GBI says that the case is still very much open. When they do close the case, the spokesperson says that they will update their website.
Yasmin said that the two twins had no connection to Bell Mountain, which is located 90 miles north of their home, in a series of posts shared on Facebook. She says, "My nephews wouldn't do this. They came from a family of love, and twins wanted so much for their future. They had dreams of starting their very own clothing line." Yasmin said after launching a GoFundMe to raise money for their funerals. She also said on Facebook that the gas station where they were seen the night before their unalivings was located just a few minutes away from their home. She says, "We are not going to sweep this case up under the rug. We want to know the truth of what happened to Qaadir and Naazir, as our family can hope closure. It is so many unanswered questions that keeps us up at night," Yasmin said earlier this month on Facebook. The older sister of the two brothers is also rejecting the initial assertion from authorities about their deaths. "They were bright lights on some of my darkest days and were my biggest supporters," wrote Kari Powell. She and other family members have now created the hashtag Justice for Qaadir and Naazir to raise awareness. Unfortunately, something happened at Bell Mountain that ended the lives of 19-year-old Qaadir and Naazir, which needs to be further investigated, Yasmin said of her nephew's unalivings. I have one more clip that I would like you to listen to briefly from Fox.
Now from Fox, I'm Andrew Kraft. Our next story takes us to Georgia. Live picture there over the Atlanta skyline. This is what we know. The family of twin brothers found dead there. They're pushing back against the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's conclusion that the deaths were suicides. It's the first time we're coming to this story here. I want to get the lowdown from our colleagues at Fox 5 in Atlanta, including from reporter Kim Leffler. She joins me. Kim, thanks for being with us here. Just a tragic set of circumstances. You've been on this story for quite some time. Help us get up to speed. What is going on?
Well, the family of Qaadir and Naazir Lewis say the GBI story just doesn't add up. They're now calling for an independent investigation as well as the release of all evidence in the case.
This is not just our fight. It is a test of whether Black lives truly matter in this country.
The family of Qaadir and Naazir Lewis have pushed back against the GBI's finding of their deaths as suicides.
Those teenage boys would have driven off of a cliff if they had to drive on a curvy, windy, narrow road up a mountain in pure darkness.
A hiker discovered the bodies of the 19-year-old twins on Bell Mountain in Towns County back in March, both with gunshot wounds. The GBI says investigators reviewed cell phone location data, surveillance footage, internet history and purchase records, and forensic evidence, and determined the brothers' injuries were self-inflicted. They say the evidence also showed the twins traveled alone from Gwinnett County to the mountain, but their family says it all doesn't make sense.
They left their subdivision at 10:17 p.m., making a quick trip to the gas station, then vanished. What happened after they left the gas station? Show us more videos.
According to the GBI's most recent update for May 21st, they say the investigation will be formally closed in the coming weeks. Georgia NAACP chapter president Gerald Griggs says there's similarities between this case and others like Ahmaud Arbery in 2020. The twins' family says they won't rest until they get answers.
So as somebody who worked on that particular case, the same thing that I'm hearing right now gives me pause. And that's why we need an independent investigation. For the 116 years that the NAACP has responded to lynchings, we know what a lynching looks like, we know what it smells like, we know what a cover-up starts out like.
We did reach out to the GBI today, and they referred us back to their most recent statement and findings in May, but they did say they will be providing an update when the case is formally closed. That's the latest from here, but for now, we'll send it back to you.
Kim, just a brief question. So what's next in this story? Where does it go from here?
Well, at this point, we're still waiting for the official word from the GBI that this case...
So now, as of May 21st, I will give you what the GBI has. GBI investigates the unalivings on Bell Mountain, which I don't know, and nobody knows how they would get up there. They weren't even familiar with hiking, but let's get into it. Mountain in Towns County. The CBI has concluded the investigation into the deaths of Qaadir and Malik Lewis and Naazir Rahim Lewis, based of the medical examiner's autopsy and other investigative findings. Their deaths have been ruled suicide. CBI agents have met with the Lewis family to share the findings. Before I continue, please let me know in the comments if you think these were suicides or unalivings. And they have detailed below some of the investigative findings. 1, cellular location data has established a timeline of their location from their home in Gwinnett County to Bell Mountain. in the video that corresponds to those locations the Lewis brothers are seen alone. Next, they have only one brother. Naazir went to the airport on March 7th, 2025. He was never caught. He never caught the flight and returned home. Records show Naazir is the only person that had an airline ticket. Records show Naazir purchased ammunition used in the Pow Pow. The ammunition was delivered to his home on March 5th, 2025. Internet history from their phones showed searches for how to load a Pow Pow, suicide rates in 2024, and other related searches. Forensic evidence showed that Lewis brothers fired a gun. The comprehensive investigation indicates the injuries causing other deaths were self-inflicted. The investigation will be formally closed in the coming weeks. A copy of the closed investigative file can be obtained by visiting the CBI Records Request Center at https://gb.georgia.gov. Again, if you are in belief with GBI, let me know in the comments. And if you're not in belief with the GBI, also let me know in the comments. And to Naazir and Qaadir's family, I pray that you find peace. And to the brothers that I'm looking at right here, so handsome and so young, rest in peace. And whatever is the truth, we will find the truth. God is always on the throne, and he's not done. He's not done. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching and listening.